I've done for the next part of the episode is I've gone through each of them one by one, with the most boring first, Donald Maclean. As an undergraduate, Maclean openly proclaimed his left-wing views and was recruited into the Soviet intelligence service, then known as the NKVD. However, he gained entry to the civil service by claiming to have forsworn Marxism. Well,
yeah, gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, I have no further questions. You are still gay, aren't you? Good, jolly good. Meet me in the bushes. In 19...
Yeah, you will still be able to do the patter songs for the High Commission's Gilbert and Sullivan every year, right?
Oh, absolutely. Modern Major General, he'll be doing it. In 1938, he was made third secretary at the Paris embassy, where he kept the Soviets informed about Anglo-German diplomacy. He then served in Washington, D.C. from 1944 to 1948, achieving promotion to first secretary. Here he became Moscow's main source of information about U.S. thermonuclear policy. By the time he was appointed head of the American department in the Foreign Office, Maclean was widely suspected of being a spy. Again,
yeah, because he told everyone he met.
Right, exactly. This is something that we'll get onto in a moment about Maclean and Burgess, who were two of the spies who worked together, and they were the first
drinkers.
I was gonna say, I thought that I know Burgess. That rings a bell that he was a huge alcoholic, but I don't know if Maclean was too.
This is an amazing quote from the Wikipedia. Maclean and Burgess were soon known as the hopeless drunks. Like, this is in Soviet intelligence, due to the fact that they had a hard time keeping their secret occupations to themselves.
How drunk do you have to be that a Russian intelligence officer is calling you a drunk?
Yeah.
You are out drinking the fucking NKVD.
Maybe have a pickled tomato with this drink. It is said that one time, while highly intoxicated, Burgess risked exposing his second identity. He was leaving a pub where he accidentally dropped one of the secret files he had taken from the Foreign Office. Maclean was also known to have loose lips and said to have leaked information about his secret duties to his brother and close friends. Although they struggled to keep secrets, that did not stop them from delivering information.
No, of course not. And it didn't stop anyone from, like, ignoring it either.
Yeah.
Just being like, it's like an office joke that these guys, of course they're talking to the fucking Soviets, whatever, I don't care. I don't get paid enough for this. I'm going to eat my brown sandwich.
I like the idea of, like, British pub landlord being like, oh, mate, you've dropped your classified information file that says to deliver to the NKVD on it in big handwriting. So speaking of Burgess, now I'm going to give you a name alert here. Guy Francis de Montcy Burgess.
Yep. M for de Montcy, sure.
Yeah, that's right. Dial M4. Born into a wealthy middle-class family. No! Burgess was educated at Eton College, the Royal Naval College at Dartmouth, and Trinity College, Cambridge. An assiduous networker, again. Shocking. He embraced left-wing politics at Cambridge and joined the British Communist Party. He was recruited by Soviet intelligence in 1935 on the recommendation of future double agent Harold Kim Philby. After leaving Cambridge, Burgess worked for the BBC as a producer, briefly interrupted by a short period as a full-time MI6 intelligence officer before joining the Foreign Office in 1944. I think the difference now is he would just still be a BBC producer. He'd be making Have I Got News for You at this point. That's what he would be doing.
He has to usher in the same three red-faced men into every episode of Question Time.
Yeah, no, just over there, it's fine, yeah. At the Foreign Office, Burgess acted as a confidential secretary to Hector McNeill, the deputy to Ernest Bevin, the foreign secretary. This post gave Burgess access to secret information on all aspects of Britain's foreign policy during the critical post-1945 period. It's estimated that he passed thousands of documents to his Soviet controllers. In 1950, he was appointed second secretary to the British Embassy in Washington, a post from which he was sent home after repeated misbehavior. Just like these guys are like talented fail sons, just like constantly getting promoted and like, well, he did vomit all over the ambassador, but he's a good chap.
It's weird to me because I have experienced this sort of thing with Americans before, but it wouldn't be. It was a friend of mine got out of the military and was working as a scare quotes advisor to the Emirati military, and one of his coworkers was like this, like retired lieutenant colonel, former battalion commander, but such a raging drunk that like he'd go out in public and like would be just completely like blackout, had to be lifted from his chair level of drunk in public, and like but hey, he was an American officer, so the Emiratis were like, oh, I can't even do the accent. I was going to do a Russian accent. They were like, why would the Emirati guy be Russian? I don't know.
I should point out, I can fill in a bit of the detail about this sort of the misdemeanors that got him sent home from the embassy in Washington.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Not only was he drinking a catastrophic amount, he made absolutely no effort to hide being gay, which it was 1951. This is a problem. Also, 3 speeding tickets on one day.
In my defense, I was drunk and also being sucked off by a twink. So
I think the funniest thing is the idea that they just let him get back in the car after each of the fucking previous speeding tickets.
You would be driving this fast if you were on the way to get bussy.
Well, now I'm late because you pulled me over. Yeah. I drive slower when I'm drunk. So write that down. You should let me drink more. Yeah, like these guys are just absolutely incredible. There is something just like it's so of Britain in this era, just like posh guys who basically have like a job for life. Like it is impossible to get fired, even if you are spying for Soviet intelligence. In the case of Burgess and Maclean, they only worked out that they were Soviet spies after they defected, and it was only like
Yeah, where's Guy gone?
Yeah, I was just talking to him this morning, and now he's gone. They only issued a warrant for their arrest. They defected in 1951. They didn't issue a warrant for their arrest until like 1960 something.
Fuck.
That's how long it took them to be like, okay, I think it's not a bit. I think the fact that they now live in Moscow and work at the KGB might be an indicator.
I have a description here of Burgess's time at the embassy in Washington as a catalogue of drunkenness, promiscuous homosexuality, and arguments with diplomatic and MI6 staff.
It's called being English.
Yeah, simple as.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's cool that the Soviet Union's greatest intelligence assets in the UK were the shirtless guys hitting each other with chairs.
Giving each other a little kiss and then...
Yeah.
I sort of imagine, Russian intelligence being more kind of no nonsense and quotidian than this, and just dealing with our fancy boys in MI6. Sam's to be like, no, you cannot buy these shoes. They are 700 pounds. People will notice. You must wear normal shoes.
Poor fucking Yuri Modin, who had to meet with these guys every fucking so often to be like, just some fucking lush falling asleep and pissing on himself on the park bench next to him at St. James's Park. And he's like, the documents.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like in the Soviet Union, wasn't it very, very difficult to be openly gay without it being a problem?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was illegal, yeah. I think it only became
thanks
legal
again
in
to
Russia.
Stalin, our boy.
Yeah.
It was legalized under Lenin and then rapidly illegalized again under Stalin.
Got too popular.
But the funny thing is, there was this Scottish communist whose name escapes me at the moment, but he was living in Moscow, and he wrote a letter to Stalin asking him, he made the fatal mistake of thinking that Stalin took communism seriously. And so he wrote him this letter on, very good ideological principles. It's like, what is the reason for forbidding homosexuality? I think this is wrong. And Stalin did a very homophobic, but admittedly very good own, which is we still have this letter because Stalin kept it because he wrote idiot file and then just gave it away to put in a filing cabinet for the next 100 years.
What can you say?
Yeah, there it is.
So yeah, don't mess with Uncle Joe.
I just find that funny because surely that would have posed problems if this had been a Soviet agent, but because they were British agents, it was just sort of like, well, they are British. I mean, you know how they are.
Well, another thing that really struck me was that basically all of the Soviet agents who had anything to do with the Cambridge Five eventually defected to the West. So they had a complete fucking prisoner exchange of they all defected to Russia and all of their handlers defected to the West. And
you change shirts at half time.
Yeah, and it made me realize that as a Westerner who defected to the Soviet Union, you basically had to be like an ideologue who'd gotten in too deep. But all the KGB guys basically just defected to the West when they retired. So they're like, I don't want to retire here, it sucks.
You are telling me you can drink as much as you want, even in middle of day.
Yeah, and you can be gay.
I've always wanted to try this.
Yeah. I want to visit this Eton College. I've heard so much. So getting on to the most interesting of the fancy boys, Harold Adrian Russell Kim Philby. Born in British India, Philby was educated at Westminster School and Trinity College, Cambridge.
I bet you the Kim Rudyard Kipling thing is 100% applicable.
Yeah, it has to be.